Guys, you are tuned live to tnsradio.com. Live on air with us is Jason Prescott. How you doing, Jason?
I'm doing super. Thanks for asking. Yourself?
Still breathing, Jason. Still breathing.
Besides the computer issues.
Besides
my
the computer
condolences.
Issues. Yeah, listen, it was nearly ending up through the window tonight, but that's another story. Okay, Jason, introduce yourself, where you've been, what you've done, what you're about, your perceptions, and what led you to this point. How did you, where essentially did you start seeing that things were wrong, and where are you at now?
Well, right now I'm involved with Consen. It's a BitTorrent tracker. We deal with all sorts of issues, discussion through the forum. We have a BitTorrent tracker that does audio interviews. Maybe we can even put up some of your stuff later. TNS Radio was actually referred to me by a member of consen.org.
Right.
And we put up a lot of documentaries and books. No music or software. Got to keep a little bit off the radar with ACTA coming in and all that. I've really been following, politics, world stuff basically all my life. Read the newspaper front to back since the age 6. I'm now 34. So, I've really just kind of been ingrained in that sort of thing. As far as conspiracies and getting, all that wake up stuff, I guess I kind of fell into that, false rabbit hole for a bit.
Yeah.
But there has been some good information. I'd like to call it the alternative research movement. And, just really digging for what's really happening and what we can really do about it, rather than getting distracted by other things. You could investigate UFOs all you want, and you probably will never get to the truth on that sort of thing. Luckily, I didn't fall into that trap, but perhaps it's something, perhaps it isn't. But there's a lot of stuff that's happening just right in front of you, right in front of your face, and it's something you can do something about locally. It's important to understand like the global, geopolitics of what's going on, because you'll see something happening in one part of the world, and it's sort of like a testing ground for what's going on over in your part of the world. Like you'll see something going on in Egypt, say with the Arab Spring, which is turned into a bit of an Arab fall or winter now. I'm not sure seasonally how they get it over there, but we get that told, programmed into us as a template. Oh yeah, that worked in Egypt. They had a Twitter revolution. Everybody just pointed and clicked and changed their governments. They went out and they protested for a couple weeks, and well, look at it now. I mean, they've got tear gas flying all over the place. A little more violent than your rubber bullets in the face that people are getting over here. Especially if you're talking about Oakland. Oh, by the way, I'm from Edmonton, Alberta, Canada. Hence the accent.
Yep.
Your English, Scottish, Irish viewers. Welsh. Anywho.
Well, we've actually got listeners all over the globe. We've got some listeners now in America, down in Australia as well. That normally picks up in the space of the evening, once the email starts going out and people realise that TNS Radio is live yet again. We basically were trying to run the radio, Jason, 24/7, and when there's no a host on, there is some podcast playing in the background with what we think is vital information for people to hear, solution-based information. Okay, so, geopolitics, history, culture, all these kind of things. Where would you like to start, Jason?
Well, actually, I was just going to go off of that global sort of idea. It's great that we have the internet right now. It's great that you can connect to people in Australia and see what's going on in other parts of the world.
Yeah.
Like stuff you normally would have filtered through a news stream. Now we have something called the internets, the web, the net. Seems like a trap, to get everybody sucked in. But right now we've got a window. I mean, it's like the advent of the printing press. They were banning books left and right. And eventually those printing presses got regulated and you needed to go with the system. I mean, the whole ISBN system, you had to really filter things. In the retail shops nowadays, there's a bit of a control over publication on that sort of thing. But right now we have blogs, and it's really a window of opportunity. They got a lot of things coming on. Like you're going to need a business license to run a blog because you could potentially make a profit.
Uh-huh.
You can't share information, if it's got a clip of some Fox News thing in it. Like, have you ever put up a YouTube video? Maybe some of the listeners out there have had some, or at least noticed that some old videos they may have favorited or bookmarked. You're like, oh, this isn't available. Well, a lot of the time that's due to copyright usage and whatnot.
Yeah.
But right now we've got a window to do something about it, and I'm just going to use every tool in the box. As for right now, I suppose really the hot button issue right now is the Middle East and what's going on over there. Mm-hmm. We've got that kind of mirrored with the Occupy Wall Street movement. Uh-huh. Here in Canada, the States. I heard it was over 1,000 cities. That may be a bit inflated. Over here in Edmonton, we've got 24 tents set up in minus 20 degrees Celsius weather. Real troopers out there. But yeah, let's start with where it really all began over in Egypt.
Well, I was saying for some time, back in January and February, just as far as regards Egypt is concerned, they were all kicking off and all this kind of stuff, and we were all watching it via the streams from like Russia Today and Ustream cameras and stuff like that. And more or less what I had been saying at that time, that these guys need to be careful because, they will get change if they continue with the direction that they're going. But ultimately what they could get is a military-based control system. And that's exactly what's turned out, that's what's happening at the moment. Now they're out in the streets again, doing the exact same thing again. And I think recently, in fact, in the just past day or two, I think, was there 13 people or something killed?
Yeah, it kind of takes you back to the Chilean revolutions when they housed a bunch of people in stadiums. Everybody's all concerned about FEMA camps, but we got the biggest stadiums in the world here in North
Absolutely,
America.
Yeah. Something.
Oh, there's a chain link fence. Nah, we got stadiums, we got schools, we got prisons.
That's exactly
nice
it. I mean,
private institutions.
That's it. Some folks say to me, Gary, but we've not got FEMA camps here. Yeah, we have. They're all over, they're dotted all over the UK. They're called football stadiums and, athletic stadiums.
That's exactly what they did in Chile. And it was really arduous conditions for those people. But, at the beginning, it seemed a bit genuine. And you had a lot of news feeds, but really there wasn't a lot of people involved initially. They were taking photo ops of a lot of people in the square, but we'd find that a lot of it was photoshopped. They're actually doing that a little bit over here in North America. Like, somebody was busted for taking a Google satellite image and copy pasting a lot of different, bodies and that sort of thing. But, I mean, it can't be ignored. At least people are trying to do something, whether it's hijacked or, ever since its inception, it was really kind of rigged to happen at a certain time.
Uh-huh.
Now, I haven't really quite put a finger on what it is exactly. It could be a banking collapse. I mean, it could be a number of different things. It could be the war. It could be to divert like an actual peace movement that might have come about naturally, and it turned everyone against banking. Because really what happened in the 60s is there was a big anti-peace movement, and it really got derailed by women's liberation, civil rights movements, bunch of black-white tensions that were coming up at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And then it was really messed up when there was a huge drug movement that ended up getting everybody all into sex and love and, doing it on acid, right?
Yep.
So really what people have to do is they kind of got to pick something. And right now, I mean, demanding peace probably won't get us anywhere, but at least we could say